Okay, it's been a while. What's up? What's up? I have been collecting a lot of information. A lot of information. So let me try to give you a little bit of information on what I've been collecting. So I've been decoding some things, analyzing things, decoding things. And this is about the Nancy Pelosi trip to Taiwan. It's kind of obvious at this point, and if it's not, then I'll go ahead and say what I put together. I believe that Nancy Pelosi is a sacrifice. They're trying to get rid of her. Somehow or another, she has been made to look incompetent, delusional, right along with Biden, made to look incompetent, delusional over time. But the Nancy's kind of came kind of fast, which made things a little more suspicious. If it happened pretty much at the same time that his happened, then I wouldn't come to this conclusion so easily. But because it sort of came on fast, and also what Kamala Harris has been made to look inappropriately incompetent by laughing so much, you have to wonder, why would all three people, I don't know who the fourth person is in line, but you know what I'm talking about, to be president. But why would three people like that be so? What would there be the gain to have those three people made incompetent? I'm going somewhere with this, but I'll keep going. I'll just keep on going. Just listen to me. So they sent her over there anyway, which everyone knows that's a provocation. I picked up certain news feeds that pretty much in the title says one thing, but on the video says the other. That's kind of their way of getting their message across when they want to get their message across. So in the title it said one thing, and on the screen it said another. What it said on the screen was quite obvious. Same thing I said. R.I.P. Pelosi. And another one said for China to end Pelosi, which means that she's a sacrifice. These kind of things that you see like this, there aren't really hidden meanings that have to be decoded that much. It's just right there for you to see. It's on the screen rather than putting it in the title. So after this third incident of decrediting high position people, and with her being there and they closed the airspace, in my mind I'm assuming they're trying to trap her there and hoping that the conflict takes her out, which may happen. I don't know. If it were, I'm not going to say if it were me, but I think at this point the Chinese people don't want to be discredited. They said no, it means no. No, it means no. They don't want her over there. If they let this fly, then they, not the Chinese, are going to push a little bit further and just disregard whatever said. So everyone kind of sees how this may go. If they don't do something, then they're going to be called a bluff, and they're going to lose face. To the Chinese people, that means a lot. So something may happen. They're doing military exercises around Taiwan, encircling Taiwan. Something may pop off, and things unfortunately may happen. So if she's taken out, there's only Joe, which I think is not really him anymore, to be honest with you. Everyone has a speculation that it's possibly a clone. And if he's not a clone, then he's just same old person, and they've just been working on him this whole time. They don't want to see Kamala be second in command because, well, you know, that's obvious. So, why is this whole thing happening? Why is this whole thing happening? What popped up in my mind is, all right, when you're looking one way and you're looking the other, and you're thinking that the people that we call the elites are in with America, I think the elites are done with America. And I think that they're doing what they can to try to make America completely fall, which everyone kind of knows that at this point. So this is what they're trying to do ultimately. Oh, let me go back to a little bit of history. I'll just jump straight to it because I want to do that and then explain it. I think this whole thing has to do with forcing everybody into the CBDC, the central bank digital currency, the CBDC. This is what this is all about. Because I'm hearing hints and reports that they want to consider all paper money null and void at some time, what they say soon in the future, which means that everyone holding cash would have to turn it in, or it's just considered null and void. Turn it in for exchange of digital currency or the CBDC, which at that point they've got us. So, if that's the end result of this all, I'll explain why. Now, there's two different type of audiences that need to listen to this. First audience are the people that look like me. Second audience are the people that don't. So this first part that I'm telling you, both audiences are paying attention. Everyone's going to pay attention at the same time. This video has a purpose. So now I'm speaking to the audience that looks like me. Why would they try so hard to push everyone into the CBDC? Now, let me ask you, what pops up in your head? What has popped up in your head so far since I've said all this? How about the food processing centers all being burned down? The artificial decline of the economy. They're trying to make it so bad to the point that, and they're trying to get rid of paper money because they know that there's a ton of money that's then came out of the banks and everyone's got money somewhere. Somebody's got money somewhere. You know, they know not a lot of money is in the bank, period. So it hasn't gone into circulation. They know this. I've watched financial reports and they say that the economy is not really as bad as what we think it is. It's all artificial, which means there's still money out there. I'm still seeing buildings being built. You go to certain grocery stores and it's fine. And on top of that, well, they shuffle the food around. And on top of that, like I said, I'm still seeing building projects popping off, commercial building projects. I'm seeing gas stations with their having their underground tanks being replaced. I'm seeing remodeling of restaurants. There's money still out there. The economy is not really bad. It's just that all these scare tactics over the last couple of years have forced people to react to it. They've even forced millionaires to react to it. I heard that the Fed actually forced millionaires, the Fed has forced millionaires into cryptocurrency and stocks, which is kind of crazy, which is probably the reason why Bitcoin rose a little bit and stocks have gone up some. There's a billionaire or millionaire that put money into a stock. I forgot his name. And they want to try to sue him from insider trading, but I think he's probably just had good timing. You watch the markets long enough, you know what's coming up. You know when it's going to pop off, especially if you watch Bitcoin. They're all tied together, basically. They try to tie it together as long as possible, and I think it was for that purpose. Some stocks do fluctuate and break off from the trend of Bitcoin, but they, for a while, had it tied together really well. And I think it was for that point, so that when things got to this point, they can force billionaires into it, and you can already look at the trend and know exactly when the market was going to rise again. All you do is just watch Bitcoin and watch every single cryptocurrency stock. But Bitcoin is the only one that, well, I haven't watched the other ones. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. So why would they do this? Okay, that's both audiences. Now I'm going to talk to the audience that looks like me. Remember when China, I'm looking straight at the camera, but I'm trying to get an angle that I want because I don't want the background to be shown. So if I'm here, okay, I'm looking at it. It's at an angle. Remember when China burnt down those churches in China, the Christian churches? There's a reason for that. Remember when they demolished some of the old Buddhist temples and stuff like that? There's a reason why they did that. It had everything to do with our awakening. Our awakening. First, they went for the churches. They got to jump on it with the churches because everyone was decoding the Bible at the time. Every one of us was decoding the Bible, was finding out some useful informations. Hebrew Israelite motion was in full swing. They knew it was only a certain amount of time before we really figured out things beyond that point. And we have. And before we did, actually, and it really got into full swing as it is now, of finding out more about our history, they destroyed a lot of the temples, the Buddhist temples, which are actually some of the links to our history, our ancient history here on this planet. But they destroyed both of those two things quickly. I don't hear nobody else talking about this, but I'm making a connection. So, why would China do that? We are the only ones that stand in the way of owning this country. The only ones. The elites have pretty much given up on America. They know it's going to fall. They're not even going to try. They're just going to give in to China. Russia is going to be supporting China. China is going to be supporting Russia. They're going to be good partners because it makes better sense for Russia to be doing business with China because they have all the technology. Russia's cutting off Europe. Europe is useless. What do they produce? I mean, they may produce a little something, but there's no real gain there. It's just a bunch of freeloaders. It's the way it looks. It's the way it feels. China is more of an advanced society, along with the rest of Asia. So it only makes better sense for Russia to cut them off, cut off Europe, switch over to China, and do business with China. So, like I said, people, us, fam, bruh, sis, we're the only ones, the original people of this planet, that stand in the way of ownership of this country. Now, however way the rest of y'all in this audience take that, it is the absolute fact. That is why they did that. Our awakening is the reason why they did that in China. China's goal is to completely take over America. There's no doubt about that. There's no question about it. Everyone here agrees with me on this. Both my people and your people here in America. You agree on that. Agree on this, fam. Agree on this, the rest of America. China must not get control of America at all, period. Here's how I see it. Now I'm going to speak to the other audience that doesn't look like me. No amount of money, and I know this land was taken by force. We know the history. Okay, we know this is stolen land. But because it's stolen, it can't be bought. It definitely isn't being bought by the people that were the natives. It's not being bought by them. So who is it being bought by? If a person that's getting ready to, let it fall or lose the control of it, which is really what it is. Even though this thing is engineered. It's all engineered. So either take it the way you want to take it. Stolen land. So if you're gonna steal a car and turn around and buy it again, come on, think about it. It's just not, doesn't make sense. No, can't go for it. Bottom line is, I'm speaking to the other audience, this listening to this video, the rest of America. Don't you agree that no amount of money is going to come in and just buy the country out from under your feet? That we are all part of in this country. Stand up and fight for it. You know exactly what I mean. That's all I got to say. And I don't have to elaborate on anything I got to say about that. If you don't want this country to fall into the hands of them, no matter what they do, no matter what they try to force you or I into, which they want to do is force us into the CBDC system. And you already know the thing about that. It's programmable money. The Chinese want to do the social credit system where they monitor your behavior. They could take away your CBDC. And I'm sure that a lot of us here in America, both your side and my side, fam, talking to you, the rest of America, I'm talking to you, we do some questionable things that we just love to do here in America, such as go off in the woods somewhere and shoot guns for the heck of it, speed on the highway, party like it's like we're rock stars, you know, the American way. So we're definitely not going to be down with no damn social credit score. If you don't want to fall into a society like that and have programmable money where they can be taken away from you and not have the freedom to do anything with money, period, whatsoever, you will fight for this country. That's what I'm calling on you to do. Or the alternative is just to watch every bit of, in this country, I don't think it's ever going to be free like we have all thought it to be. It's going to be something different. It's going to be like a land that we're going to have to fend off others for, because they want the land. China wants the land. Matter of fact, probably the whole world does. And the best way to do it would be to force everybody into a CBDC to the point where no one can do anything, and they just come in and take over and inflict their rules upon everybody, which none of us is going to like. So what are you going to do, America? I'm talking to both of you now. What are you going to do? You know, this has been China's plan for the longest, the whole thing, all the way back before 2020, 2019, and all the things that have happened before then. So do your part to become a little more aware of the steps that have been taken that's involved. I kind of almost think that now that I think about it, and I think the immigrant surge into America may be like a little backup plan. It's a backup plan. Because if it were just my people, fam, if it was just us, and if it was just the rest of Americans, as we know it, Americans have traditionally been, without the immigrant surge coming from the South, it probably would be a little more easier to overtake America. But who would you rather to run this country? It's not going back to the way it was. And if it does, it'll be different. It won't be going back to the way it was as far as the money system. I think the money system may take on a whole different thing. It's kind of hard for me to put that. I want to say what I want to say, but see, I don't want to be incorrect about it. Hell, if it comes down to it and they do try to make money null and void, trade money among yourselves, fam. The rest of America, trade money among yourselves if the stores won't accept it. But, oh, and then they tried to talk bad about Bitcoin. I saw a news thing about that. They're trying to convince, but you all know the deal. Bitcoin is the best thing ever, period. And we still got that. Unless, no, it's not going to happen. But anyway, They freaked out about TikTok, which there may be some truth to that. Everyone wants to defend it. I want to defend it too, but it could be used as a surveillance kind of thing, as with spying on our phones and everything like that. Yes, but so is YouTube, so is Facebook, and don't get me started with Facebook because that probably just goes straight back to them anyway, no matter what we do. Um, Probably infiltrated in so many different ways that they don't want to admit it. So TikTok is probably just another. But that's a different type, whole different subject. I don't want to get started on that right now. I don't want to get started on that. But this is what's happening. This is what's happening. China is the problem. Yes, on the surface and right here and now, if you take a snapshot of what's going on, it looks like America is the problem. China said no. America wants to send Pelosi over there anyway, but I think she's a sacrifice. It's almost as if a war does start, a conflict does start, she's taken out and things go really downhill, which I've been predicting that the elites want to do that. It's an excuse to go underground. It's an excuse for them to go underground for the next 60 years or so. And, everything on top side just is to be forgotten about by them. And then let the Chinese come in. They've already bought a lot of farmland. Bill Gates has bought a lot of farmland. That's not good. But because they bought it, and if there's no government to oversee it, the purchase is only if you, in your mind, abide by it. It's still in this land. The money purchase of the farms is still here in America. And so unless they're willing to come over and fight for farmland, I'm talking to America, I think they're going to have a big fight on their hands. And I don't think there's one American out there, any of us, that's going to sit back and say, well, they purchased it, we can't do anything about it. Bullshit. The government completely collapses, or if it comes to the point where there is no presence of government, just gone, they're on the ground now because something did pop off. I don't see no reason why you or I, any of us, should honor a so-called purchase. We didn't get the money. They didn't buy it from us. They bought it from the owner, or the government, or the government sold us out, or whatever the case is. You get the picture. Something to think about. So, I've said what I said. All my words probably didn't come out perfect, but I've said what I said. Thanks for watching. James Gray is Ryder. What's up? What's up?